behalf of Gyan Vikas Mandal's Degree College and Eat Fly Learn, I, Assistant Professor Yogita Savan, Coordinator of BMS Department, welcome you all to the International Faculty Development Program on e-learning and tools for effective teaching and learning. On the occasion of this maiden webinar, it would be unjust to start our event without calling upon our pillar of strength and our constant source of motivation, our principal madam, Dr. Leena Sarkar. Madam, I request you to kindly address the participants.
Thank you, Yogita. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Gyan Vikas Mandal's management, staff, and myself, I extend a very warm welcome to all the delegates, eminent speakers, Sri Kapil Bhatia from Education, Dubai, Sri Viral Dedia, co-founder of EdFly, Ms. Manisha Thakur from EdFly. Gyan Vikas Mandal Trust was established in the year 1974 by our visionary management with an aim to provide education to all. JVM's Degree College was started in the year 2001 with only 12 students, and today we are having more than 3,000 students. We have acquired NAC A grade with CGPA 3.33. We are offering 11 UG and PG courses. Our college is also a recognized center for PhD in chemistry. All this has been possible due to continuous support and motivation from our management. Friends, today we are going through unprecedented situation due to COVID-19. It has been reported that we have to live with this for many decades, even after discovery of any kind of vaccine. Looking at this scenario, we have to learn to live with this in years to come. Hence, we have to appraise ourselves with the latest techniques and skills to meet new challenges. In view of this, our BMS department with EdFly has organized today's International Faculty Development Workshop on e-learning and tools for effective teaching and learning. This is a small step by us towards our social responsibility, which will be immensely helpful with e-learning and e-administration techniques. I once again welcome all of you, and without taking much time, I request convener of this workshop, Mrs. Yogita Savan, to take it ahead. Looking forward for fruitful sessions. Happy learning. Good day to all of you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. With this beautiful message conveyed by our dear principal madam, we would now like to proceed further. And on that note, I would like to request my colleague, Ms. Divya Gautam, to kindly introduce our first speaker of the day. Divya, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to everyone present on this virtual platform of knowledge gaining session. I, Assistant Professor Divya Gautam from BMS Department of Gyan Vikas Mandal College, would like to introduce our first international speaker, Mr. Kapil Bhatia. Sir has 20 years of great experience in various sectors like retail banking, IT, and teaching. Sir has provided his valuable service to the different organizations and institutions like ICICI Bank, HSBC Bank, Oracle, NMIMS, and many more. Sir is currently associated with James Education, Dubai as an academician and senior faculty. Mr. Bhatia holds an MBA degree from NMIMS and MCOM degree as well. Sir also enriched his education by adding diploma in behavioral economics from University of Toronto. Sir is a keen learner and is also interested in spiritual and mythological reading. I finally welcome our international resource person who is expert in use of e-learning technology, Mr. Kapil Bhatia, to throw light on the topic of e-learning. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. Thank you, Dr. Leena Sarkar, for calling me here. And I would begin, not taking too much of time, I would just begin with the presentation. I have a small presentation. Before I begin with the presentation, I would just say that this is about e-learning, which is applicable not only to school or college students, but even to employees of various organizations. So I have taken a holistic picture of e-learning as a need for this particular century, especially after the pandemic, how the scenario is going to change. So I would just begin by saying a Sanskrit proverb which says, Sa vidya ya vimuktaye, which means that knowledge is the one who will give you freedom, irrespective of from where the knowledge is coming. And today, when we are into this situation, online learning and e-learning has become one of the important elements that we need to get adjusted with and take it even further. So let me begin with a quick presentation. I will take around 20 minutes for this. I will just share the screen. Am I audible and am I visible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I have I've shared the screen. Okay, just a sec. Yeah, so basically I'm talking about e-learning and its significance in today's times. Now, what is this e-learning and what are certain misconceptions also that are associated with e-learning? Yes, we all know that e-learning is about electronic learning. You should have a device. So it is an online learning or learning associated with digital platforms using the electronic gadgets to learn various concepts. So that's e-learning. However, there are some some misconceptions that are associated with it, that it is something extra that one needs to pursue. So along with what you are doing, it is just tagged as extra. Today, we won't call it as an extra. It is the need of the hour, need of the minute, and need of the second, every second, in fact. Whether these degrees will be valid or not, or if I take an online education, whether that particular course that I've attended is valid or not from job perspective. These days, schools, colleges, institutions, organizations, everybody is doing everything online. So there is no question of anything not being valid. Something that can I do free of cost is one more misconception. Not all, we always say that not all lunch is free lunch, okay? So here also the payment is involved. However, there are some websites, information websites that give you information free of cost. But when it comes to a formal education or a formal, knowledge-based academic degree that you want, maybe there are some costs associated with it, and everybody works towards it. So even they need to get their cost recovered from that. And one more misconception is that I can do it only in my free time. Can I do my schooling in my free time, or can I do my studies in my free time? Not exactly. I have to plan for it. So now is the time that we also start planning for our online learning or e-learning, as we call it. Okay, in a planned manner, not procrastinating it. So let's talk about a little bit about e-learning. Today we all have the gadgets. Okay, multiple gadgets we use, or at least one gadget we have, and of course internet is readily available. So I really don't think that there is any obstacle to learning, e-learning. Our entire learning essentials can fit into our pockets in one mobile phone. So that's something that is great, which was unthought of maybe 2-3 decades back. There are plenty of ways to study. So it's not that you need to study only in a particular formal manner. There are guidelines, there are videos, there are tutorials, articles, online courses. Some are free, some are paid, whatever. So it's readily available in multiple ways, and it is simple and it is quick. There are some facts that I got from the internet itself. Fact number one: a percentage of academic institutions, organizations, and incorporations moving towards e-learning is steadily rising. Okay, so most of the organizations have some or the other way of e-learning being available either to their students or to their employees. Almost all reputed B schools and institutes have e-learning or distance learning courses available. So it's not that these degrees or these are not recognized. However, they are increasing in their recognition value. By the end of 2020, global mobile learning market will be more than USD 38 billion. So that is also one fact where, steadily rising scenario we are seeing in the case of mobile learning and e-learning. The median age of people who study online is 33 years, and more than 80% of them are working. So we are not only considering the student scenario here, even employees, even bank employees or corporate employees or any other institutions, to save their costs, even they are going into e-learning module based structure where employees can do at their own pace. They can take the courses at their own pace and improve their productivity or efficiency. And last one, productiveness of workers can increase by 50% in those companies using the e-learning, and they produce at least 25% more income for each worker. So even these are certain facts which clearly bring out the importance of e-learning in today's times. Preference for e-learning. Why is e-learning preferred now? Okay, most of the 21st century learners, especially when I talk about youngsters, students, okay, college goers or teenagers, okay, they are in love with the screen. Videos, graphics, illustrations attract the learners. Okay, so gone are the days where we only stick to the blackboard or the whiteboard. For that matter, even just a plain presentation is not enough. They need graphics, they need some learning. All this is possible on e-learning system. Self-paced learning is also possible. You have apps, apps and software which also give you a self-paced learning. So you can do it at your own pace. It's not necessary that it has to be synchronous. It can be asynchronous also, where a learner is learning at his own time. It is suitable to both introverts and extroverts. So there are mediums where extroverts do participate, and those who are introverts can keep learning at their own pace without actually too much of interaction. Less expensive and time saving. Obviously, this goes without saying. Well versed with technology, smartphones, text messages. So all these 21st century kids are already well versed. Sometimes we have to take guidance from them as faculty members or as teachers or professors. We have to take guidance from them that, okay, how do I work, or how do I share my screen, or how do I use this platform or Zoom or whatever. So these things are also there where youngsters are more ahead than us, and writing is slowly being replaced by typing, or rather texting, what we call. So, there are people who don't want to, there are students I find these days who don't want to write exams, but if you tell them to type out the answers, they would be more than willing to do it. So this is also one of the preferences for e-learning. There are some trends that are going on in e-learning. I will not take much detail into this because these are, in a nutshell, these are lengthy enough to be discussed. But there are certain things like micro learning, where small and necessary amount of information on a subject is given. So if you are researching on only a particular topic, say, at a school level, maybe a teacher giving some small topic to the students and they want to learn about it, they can very well go to these micro learning lessons and take the information from there. There could be video modules. There are tailored learning paths also. So tailored learning paths means that you are aligned with that. Unless and until you reach a particular level, the module will not move ahead considering your needs of the learning module. So apps like Byju's and all that, they have these tailored learning paths. There are other software like MindSpark, etc. Okay, by educational initiatives and all that. So these modules also help. There are modular e-courses. So there are various modules, a big course on a particular subject with small modules. So either you attempt the entire course, or you attempt small modules as per your requirement, or maybe skip some modules. Then most of the organizations and reputed organizations also have LMS, that is the learning management system, already configured in their employee portals, and other learning communities like blogs or information sites and all that are already existing, which we all are aware about. Let me take to the new concept now, which is utmost needed, or we call it as the need of the hour, blended learning. We really don't know what the scenario will be in the next coming months, okay? Whether parents will be reluctant to send children to school or no, whether employees will be wanting to attend the offices full time or no. So there are these various aspects that need to be taken care of. And that brings us to blended learning. Okay, it is basically the having the merits of both the instructor-led learning, which we call it as our traditional teaching methods, and the internet, and e-learning sources and e-learning modules. So combining both of these together will become a blended learning. So maybe the students or learners can, select what they want in a classroom learning environment and what they want to learn it on their own, sitting in the comfort of their houses, or maybe in their self-paced manner. So these are basically also, techniques which consider the abilities and needs and habits of the 21st century learners. We all know that 21st century learners, may it be employees, may it be students, college students, school students, there is a lot of eagerness, impatience, a lot of exposure to social media. Some of the students you also see, using social media while sitting in the class. So, and we cannot stop it. Let's be very honest about it. We cannot stop it. So it's the way in which the world is going to, at least the education world is going to move further. All these needs together become, a call for blended learning. How has the learning changed forever? So that is what we were also discussing. Desktop e-learning isn't the only way. Learners are using various devices, at times even mobiles or multiple devices simultaneously. So let's take an example that, okay, your teacher tells you to find a word from a dictionary. Now you don't sit with a dictionary in a classroom. Okay, you will just Google it. So, your phone is on one side, your laptop is on one side, and you are Googling, not running between the screens. So even that is possible. Books are getting replaced by smartphones, especially things like dictionary, calculators, statistical tables, etc. So all these things are available online and very much a part of learning modules now, even in schools. It's an era of need-based learning. Hence, selecting the device, search engine, information site, learning platforms, etc. would depend on what the need is at that moment for that particular learner. And learners want not only quality and information, but they also want value, speed, and their own convenience. So this is the way further that we have to look for. I would just quickly take some time for requirements for successful e-learning. So there are various requirements that e-learning would require. One is the micro-learning. So what do you want to learn in small manner, small lessons, small modules, etc. The right kind of learning spaces. So maybe your libraries have to be partially replaced by computers or by desktops or by internet areas, as we call. Very essential to stay up to date. Any information, even because everybody is always exposed to real-time information. So all the learners want, up to date information also. Making it mobile as well. So you have these multiple gadgets which can work. For example, I can Zoom on my desktop also, which I am on right now. If this wouldn't have worked, I would have also done it on my mobile phone. So that multiple devices setting is also required. Engaging into interactive and relevant content and meeting the exact needs of the learners. Important benefits that e-learning will give to students, employees, as well as the corporates. That it will accommodate everybody's needs. We already spoke about the self-paced learning or modular learning. So I can skip some modules or I can learn according to my pace. So it's accommodating everybody's needs, not going into the flow. Availability of both synchronous as well as the asynchronous methods of teaching and learning. So, aligning either together in one class or virtually, or giving some modules which the learner can read and do it at his own pace. That is asynchronous method. Repeat and recorded lectures are also should also be made available. Quick delivery and tailor-made lessons are also required and must be there. So these are important benefits that even e-learning will provide, which a traditional teaching method could not have provided. There could be, there would be consistency. There needs to be consistency, effectiveness, and obviously there is less impact on the environment. So you are wasting less paper comparatively by giving e-learning modules and all that. So these are some of the benefits. I end my talk here, and that's it that I had to share.
Thank you,
Over to
sir.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you rightly said that our entire learning essential can fit in
Some technical glitch, I guess. Is it on my side or?
Divya ma'am, we can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes. Sorry, sir. There might be some technical issue. Thank you, sir, for such a knowledgeable, informative, and enchanting session. Sir, you rightly said that our entire learning essential can fit into our pocket, can fit into our pocket with the help of e-learning, and we all can experience that e-learning is the need of the hour. I am sure that participants like the session as they have received a valuable takeaway from the session. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
For all the participants, we have enabled the chat box for question and answer section. Kindly place your query regarding the session, which will be taken up at the end of the webinar. Now, I call upon Assistant Professor Omkar Mone to introduce our second well-known speaker for the day. Over to you, Omkar, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I am Assistant Professor Omkar Mone from BMS Department. Would like to introduce about our next speaker, Mr. Viral Dhedia. Sir is an EdTech innovator and co-founder of Edifly. He is a techie, a hacker, and a serial entrepreneur with more than 12 years of experience in education technology. Mr. Viral Dhedia is co-host and organizer of Edifly Learn. It is an innovative learning management solution tailored for Indian educators. From hosting live e-lectures to assessment, attendance, and teachers' own content library, the platform captures complexities of online teaching to one simple solution. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Omkar sir, for the wonderful introduction. Hi, good morning, everyone. It's been a wonderful session in the morning by Kapil Bhatia sir. So, firstly, I would say that I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be the part of such a wonderful conference. And here I would also want to say that whatever Kapil Bhatia sir has said about e-learning platforms, about various features that he has mentioned that you would require from e-learning platform, various benefits that you would require to exhibit from an e-learning platform. I assure you all that at Edifly Learn, we are committed to delivering a seamless experience on the various features, the various benefits that just now sir has spoken upon. Uh, with this, let me start by sharing some information on my screen. It might be possible that some of it is overlapped by what sir has already presented. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So we are Edifly Learn. Let me begin with sharing some industry data. The internet, India is a global leader in monthly data consumption today. We are consuming about 9.8 GBs of data, which is very critical from an e-learning perspective. We are consuming 9.8 GBs per month, which is almost 150 times than what it was 5 years back. And we are one of the cheapest internet services that we have here in India. So with this, e-learning is become practical here in India. As sir also mentioned that the center of gravity from computers has moved to mobiles. All that you need for e-learning from a student perspective is with him in his pocket, which is a mobile phone. This product we began few weeks back when we had a discussion with my investors, with my faculty members, with my team members internally, and we were discussing on everybody had a question that Viral, why is it that now you want to invest suddenly on e-learning? Why is it that you want to? Why are you interested now? Okay, I think my volume is little. Am I audible clearly? I'll
Sir,
try.
be a little louder.
Okay, I'll try to be a little louder.
Thank you.
So basically, when we started this, the questions were like, why is it that you are suddenly interested in investing in e-learning? Why are you investing so heavily on faculty development programs? Why now? So after launching this, it's been 6 weeks now, and we have 7 times the number of users who have adopted e-learning in the last 10 years. We've had that number in last 6 weeks. So I'm sure all of us on board are happy with the numbers. And let me run you through the platform and introduce this platform. So if you find it beneficial, you can adopt this within your institutes as well. So, this is one question which I think even Kapil Bhatia sir has answered. However, towards the end, we'll have a little bit more insights on why do we really need a learning management tool on board. So let me take you through few steps. It's going to be a practical session. For those of us who want to do this in parallel, can also try this out in parallel. We are going to study how Edfly Learn as a platform works, and also in parallel learn on the basic features that we are going to require for e-learning. Okay, so for all of you, this is a question that what are the features that you can think of that you would want to integrate in your online learning platform? What are those features that you in person would want to integrate onto a e-learning platform? You can put your answers onto our channel, and if there is something that we feel that most of us need, we can also incorporate if it is not there with us today. So at Edfly Learn, let me take you through the basic things that we require from our e-learning platform. So the first thing is, as a teacher, you should be able to create your own course. Second is you should be able to add content like your videos, PowerPoint presentations, PDFs, maybe a small exam, online exam, or those kind of content that you would want to add. The third thing is you should be able to take a virtual class, a live lecture on a video conferencing tool, video conferencing platform. So this is the third thing that you would want to do. The fourth thing is, after you're done teaching, you might want to assess your students. You might want to grade them. Might want to give them marks and so on. So these are the basic things that you would expect from e-learning platform. Apart from this, you might also want to do some engagement with them, some feedback with them, some discussions with them. So these are the various features that you would look at from an e-learning platform perspective. So let's have a look at Edfly Learn. I'm going to share my screen now, which is going to be a live platform. So here, it's called as edflylearn.com. So on the website, you can see that various features on Edfly Learn. You can get started for free. What are the benefits for teachers? What are the benefits for institutes and for students? It's a free platform for teachers and for students. However, if institute is willing to adopt this on board, then it is a paid license. However, as teachers or students, you can use this platform for free. So let me show you from here, you can register as a teacher. On the home page, you have a button where you can register as a teacher. Let me log in as I've already registered and show you how this looks like. So as we talk, we are live in about 200 countries out there. So here I've just logged into this platform. Okay, so as you can see, I have my 19 courses and 28 chapters and 219 students, 12 subtopics. So this is how you'll be able to see your own thing. When you sign up for the first time, you'll see everything zero. And as and when you add your courses to this, you will be able to figure this out. So let me take you through the basic course. One is how are you going to create course? How are you going to add content? How are you going to schedule a lecture and invite students? So these are the 4 things that we'll look at right now. So you can go to this schedule lecture tab on your right. You can click on this schedule lecture tab, and just this image is for the reference. Most of us are degree colleges, junior colleges, and so on. So here you can use the general or the advanced tab. Academic year is, let's say, 2021. Your course is your BA, BCom, BMS. These are the various courses. So right now for me, I'm going to write BMS course. And let's say the subject that I'm teaching is mathematics. And the first chapter that I'm going to teach is, let's say, area of, or let me put it as circles. Okay. Do I want to schedule a lecture? Yes. Okay, I'll schedule a lecture. And for this particular topic, my first lecture is going to be on 29th, which is today, from let's say 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, so this is like for 1 hour, and I'll save this. Here, what you can see is there's an invite code that you can share with your students. Once you share this with your students, they'll be able to join your course. So I'll copy this, and yeah. So here, the first tile that you can see is for BMS mathematics, and the topic, the chapter that I'm going to teach is circles. How do I add content to this? So let me just enter into this particular chapter by clicking on it. Once I've clicked on it, it says that I've already scheduled a lecture from 11 to 12 today. And there is the option where I can add content. So when I click on add content, there are various types of content pieces that I can add to my learning. I can put a learning objective, pre-note, video, attachments, lecture schedule, post note, assignment, quizzes, and so on. We're going to add more features to this. However, for now, these are what are live. So for example, let me add a pre-note. And the pre-note is, let's say, circles. You are going to learn the area of circles. And second is, let's say, circumference of circles. Okay, and I'm going to save this. Every content piece that you put here is going to be shown in this particular format, one below the other. And if you wish to share this with your students, all you've got to do is publish this content here. So I'm going to publish it right now. Publish it right now. I'm also going to add, for example, let's say you found some interesting content online. For me right now, I'm going to search on YouTube and area of circle. Okay. So let's say I found this video and I find it interesting and I want to include this into my learning. all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. So I've copied this video here, and I'm going to add content.
Pi r squared gives you the area of a circle. But where does pi r squared?
Okay. So I'm going to add this as a YouTube link here, and I pasted my link here. Save. So here you can see that that particular video which I liked has been incorporated into my learning, and so on. You can keep on adding multiple such pieces of content. You can add multiple videos, multiple. You can upload your own video also. You can upload your presentation, Excel file, PDF file, any other file. If you've got a computer program, you can also share your C, C++ files, and so on. So what we have done is, the first thing is I've signed up onto Edfly Learn platform. Second is I've created a course. Third is I've been able to schedule a lecture. Fourth, I've added content. Okay. So the next thing is, how are we going to be able to invite our students onto this course? As a teacher, go to your dashboard. There, for the course that you've created, you have an invite student code out here on every tile. So just click on this particular code and you can share it on let's say if I've got a WhatsApp group right now, I'm going to share it with a couple of groups here. So for example, I've shared it with 2 groups here, and you can see that invitation, which is for BMS course, and mathematics is the subject, and I'm going to teach circles. So this is a code for that. And so right now I can see about 36 students here, which are pending approval on the top. Here I can see 36 students. Now, if some of us are students and who can join my course by clicking on that link, I'll see this number increased. And then for now, I'm going to publish the content that I've added to my course so that it is visible for our students. The students can see this particular content in the exact same fashion that it is shown here, one below the other. We also have a mobile app for our students. So let me proceed further for now. If there are any questions, let me take those for now. So copyrights is something that we have been able to handle from our platform. If there is a copyright issue in a particular piece of content, we are going to take that down. All the content that you upload should be clean content. So it is like any other platform. If we find some content which is irrelevant, we are going to take that platform. We have given this option of reporting that particular piece of content with our students. Once they start reporting, we'll be able to take that content down. You can, as an institute, we have an option. So there's a question which is, before each lecture we have to schedule, or we are able to schedule lecture for future also. So for an institute login, we have given them a feature where timetable is a concept, and basis the timetable, the lectures will be automatically managed. As a teacher, you can schedule n number of lectures for the future. So I hope I have been able to answer this question. Okay, so if there are any other questions, please put it on our WhatsApp, on our YouTube channel. We'll be able to answer those. Let me take back to the presentation. So in these current times, on a platform, we are also looking at maintaining student database, teachers database, content database. So let's say for an institute, for all the teachers that are on the platform, they'll be able to see the content uploaded by all the teachers and together onto a repository. I'll show you that feature also. And after your examination, you'll also want to store the result database. So these are the various things that we've been able to store. Let me also take you through some of the advanced tools that we have, which is assignments and so on. Assignments, otherwise, how are we managing? So the way I have seen most of us managing assignments is manually, where we'll have a grade sheet for all the students and with the roll numbers. And when the students submit those assignments, we'll be able to grade them. And then basis the students who have not received the grades, we are being able to track whether they have submitted the assignments or no. This same thing we have replicated online on our platform. You can grade your assignments here. You can track your students' assignments here. The second way of taking these assignments is through emails. However, I would say that emails is little non-effective because you'll have to still manually take the pain of uh, marking who has submitted the assignment, who has not submitted the assignments, then follow-ups with them, uh, then separately grade the assignments and so on. So here we have made a very simple tool to manage assignments. It's again from the platform. You can go to uh, add content and add an assignment. So when you add an assignment, you can ask them to solve some sums, or you can put upload your assignment requirement here, and that will be visible to your students once they respond. Let me just put a sample assignment and save. So once your students upload the assignments, we'll be able to see all the assignments from here. Let me, in the meanwhile, also check if there are students who, I can see one student who has applied for this particular course. Here I can see this one student. I'll approve this student for now. Okay. So this particular student will be able to see my course. Let me run you through course management is a topic which is more relevant for our institutes. So I'll skip this for now. If we have got another advanced workshop for institutes from 10th of June, which is going to be a 3-day workshop. We are going to take these concepts there. Let me take you through content store and assessment. So let me take you through assessment first. So again, on the dashboard, I'm going to go to my topic, BMS Mathematics Circles. And under add content, I've got this quiz as an option. So you can go to my quiz and you can attempt, like you can put some questions here. So for now, I'm going to put a sample quiz. Here it's all multiple choice questions. So let's say, what's the topic for today? So let me say the answer is, let's say, circles, area of circles, and let's say squares and triangles. So here right now, I would say that circles and area of circles are the right answers, and I'm going to put 2 marks to this. If I wish to add more questions, I can add more questions. And right now, okay, let me just put another question, which is, why are we here? Okay, and let me put the option as A, B, C, G, and the answer is A. And let's say 2 marks. And I'm going to save this. So here you can see that towards the end, you have the quiz which has got created, and it shows you the questions here. So like this, in the similar format, you can add more questions. Sorry, I think I missed sharing my screen. Okay, I hope this is visible. And So let me just take you through the how are you going to do the questionnaire. You can go to add content, you can go to a quiz, and from the quiz you can uh, create a quiz for yourself. Here you can see that you have got only multiple choice questions. I have added 2 questions here. Let me show you how I have added. So these are the 2 questions that I put here. What is the topic for today and why are we here? So just random questions I've taken. Similarly, you can go to the quiz section here under your course, and you can, under the add content, you've got an option for a quiz. I'll also demonstrate an advanced version of the quiz here, which is the feature that we have given for our institute login. So this is the thing that we have given for our institute. Here you can see that there is an option for question bank. I'll just show you the question list. These are the various questions that we have added for now. This is a live platform. And under add new question, here you see there are multiple kinds of questions that you can add. It's multiple choice, single answer, multiple choice, multiple answer, match the column, short answer, long answer. So these are the various types of questions that you can add. Then while you are conducting the exam, here you can see that various online facilities that we have given. You can have a start date and end date for your exam. You can have the duration for your exam, maximum attempts, what is the minimum percentage. There is an option for negative marking as well. Do you want to allow your students to view the right answers after submitting their exam? Is it going to be an open exam or you want it to be logged? Do you want to capture a photograph of your student from your phone, from his phone? Do you want to have the questions automatically randomly selected, or you want to manually select for your from the question bank? Do you want to generate a certificate and so on? So these are the various options that we have got for conducting an exam and so on. So here I'll just check for a particular result. So here you can see that there was this question paper and the answers, and this is how it shows the report for the student once he's attempted. Okay. So like this, we are incorporating more and more features onto this platform. A typical college structure looks like this. We've got multiple courses, like we've got multiple faculties like BA, BCom, BMS, and so on, which we are running under the same course. Every course has got maybe 2 or 3 years of, or 4 years of engagement. Then you've got multiple divisions, multiple subjects, and so on. So this is the exact structure that you can emulate onto EdFlyLearn platform. You can manage the exact same thing. Some of so quality. So basically, I missed on one particular thing, which is content store. Let me talk about this. We have a huge population of teachers here in the country, and quite a few of us have the knack of creating really good quality content. Quite a few of us may not have the right infrastructure to create some quality content. So what do I mean by quality content is, we know our students, we know the aptitude of our students. So the content which is good enough for making them understand a particular concept is good quality content, right? So not all content will be applicable to all our students is what is my belief. When today I see that quite a few of us teachers have started to upload some good quality content which is applicable for various students. So we have uploaded a content store. We've got a feature which is content store, on which any teacher who has shared a particular piece of content, you can view that particular content and incorporate that in your learning. So for quite a few of us who have the knack of creating content, can upload good quality content and can also get royalty or get monetization done for that content. As we talk, we have got more than 500 teachers who have subscribed to our content program and who have started uploading some good quality content. We have got more than 2 terabytes of quality content uploaded on our platforms already. For those of us who cannot curate good quality content, can go through our content store, have a look at content, and if they find that relevant for their students, if they find that interesting for their students, they can incorporate within their learning for their students. So that is one thing. With so many users adopting our platform today, with so much of content that is being uploaded onto our cloud servers today, there is one big thing that we are focusing on, which is security. Without security, the whole learning experience can be really dangerous. Every other day, we hear some or the other news where some lecture got hacked, some irrelevant content got shared onto the between the learning, something or the other, right? So, as EdFly, at EdFly, we are concerned about the security. For those of us who have subscribed onto EdFly Learn platform, they would have noticed that the first security bit is mobile number verification. We have got all our users on our platform which are mobile number verified, which means there is this one thing, mobile numbers which are KYC compliant today. There is nobody who can get a mobile number without KYC compliant, and if something goes wrong from a particular user ID, we can always trace back to the source. So that is our agenda. That's our first level security. For all the collaborations that we have done, we have integrated, for example, with Zoom platform. We are also in the verge of integrating with Google Hangout, Meet. We are integrating various quiz platforms on our platform. All these accesses will be only to the users who are on board with EdFly Learn. Outside users will not be able to access your content, will not be able to join your lectures. Be rest assured about the security. About the next thing, which is rewards and incentivization or the royalty for the content. I've already mentioned that for those of us who are interested, who have got the knack of curating good quality content, can join our content programs. Basis the number of downloads, you will automatically be able to make some royalty on the content that you uploaded. At this juncture, I would also want to introduce you to various programs at EdFly that we are running. We are running a beta program which is for our pro users who are on the platform. So all the new features first are shared with our beta program users. They already are running our beta program with full license capacity. So these are the users who represent our teaching community, who represent from tech perspective, from ease of use perspective, from additional feature requirement perspective, and so on. So we are constantly running the webinars with these beta program users. As we talk, we've got more than 50 people who have subscribed for our beta program. So for those of us who are tech savvy, who understand this side and the teaching side both, you are more than welcome to join our beta program. We'll let you know the details of how you can join this program. We are also running content program for those of us who can curate good quality content, are most welcome onto our content program. You can monetize, you can make some money from this program as a faculty. Third is like the program that we are doing right now, faculty development programs. We are on a daily basis doing about 2 faculty development programs for all our users out here. If like you can subscribe to our channel, which is EdFly channel, you will keep getting notifications on our next faculty development programs that are happening. We are also doing advanced faculty development programs, advanced institute level development programs for training our institutes for them to adopt e-learning easily. Okay. Fourth is we are doing some guidelines for effectivity. These times are different for us, and it might be relevant to put some new guidelines out there for our students for effective learning, for better learning. Maybe for some of us as teachers also, we would need some better guidelines for effective learning. Fifth is we are collaborating with various platforms. Only Edfly Learn as a platform, I'm sure, will not be enough to serve the requirements of the entire educational fraternities on board. Hence, we are collaborating with various outstanding players in the market. For example, I've already mentioned that we have integrated with Zoom as a platform. We are integrating Kahoot as one of our quiz platforms, and so on. We are doing this across length and breadth of our product. Check out our product at edflylearn.com. I'll also share some tasks on the WhatsApp groups. You can try, if you want to try Edfly Learn, you can follow those steps from the WhatsApp groups. At Edfly, I would want to introduce our company. We are ERP solutions company only dedicated to educational institutes. We have got various modules like online admission and fees, which is called as onfees.com. Here, last year we did about 4 lakh transactions from the platform. We are doing about 30 degree colleges from Mumbai University on our platform. We also have HR, payroll, library, communications, travel management, hostel management, university management, mobile apps, and so on and so forth on our platform. So if any institute is interested, we can help you adopting the entire technology piece on board. With this, I would like to thank all of you for being a wonderful audience. I would like to thank JVM College for giving us this opportunity, for hosting this wonderful session with all of you. I hope the session was meaningful. Thank you once again. If there are any questions, we would be happy to take those. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative and knowledgeable session. Now I call upon Assistant Professor Divya Gautam to take question answer session. Over to you, Divya ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there are many questions, so we can take a few of the questions. First question we have is, how can we bring e-learning to students from a rural area?
Okay. So I'm sure that some of our students might not have the infrastructure. Some of them might not have internet connectivity. Now, in these cases, or some of them might not have smartphones or computers. In this case, I feel it will be difficult for reaching out to those. I'll just share some statistics here. As we talk, 47% of our users in India have internet connectivity, and 90% of the age group, which are student population, has internet connectivity with them. So I'm sure 10% of these students would still face an issue. Uh, I'm not sure on how we'll be able to reach them without this basic infrastructure. Uh, but still, having said this, it is a macro problem. It is infrastructure problem that in general we are working towards. If I look at the data from 5 years from like behind, these numbers were far worse and we have reached so far. And I'm sure that these numbers will improve in the future also. For now, whoever have this infrastructure in place uh, can do this and conduct this learning effectively. Some of the teachers also might not have the infrastructure to probably run the show. They can request their institute to help them with the required infrastructure, maybe. And I hope in these times, institutes also would be supportive. And I hope that this issue can be resolved to some great extent.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, our next question is, can the teachers monitor the student so as to avoid any possibility of teaching?
So
Hello?
yeah, if I'm right,
Yeah.
then the question is that as teachers, you would want to monitor your students. You want to keep a track on whether he's really learning, whether he's in front of the screen or no. I'm like, if this is the question, then let me answer this. That when you are conducting a live lecture, you can actually see all your students. You can keep their videos on. We are conducting it through Zoom. So you can ask them to do all these things. So for those here who do not have the right infrastructure, on Edfly Learn as a platform, all the videos, all the lectures that have happened are recorded and are shared with your students with your permission automatically through the platform. Once they have the recording, they can go and access that content at their own leisure time. So that is also a facility. And all of this on what is how much time they spent on a particular video, how much like how many students were live, how many students have accessed this content offline. All this analytics, all this time is being recorded onto our platform. However, this particular analytics is available only for institute login, only for only an institution. This is not available for teachers in the free software. So I hope I've been able to answer that.
Thank you, sir. So few more questions we have. How is it different from Google Classroom or Moodle or Canvas?
Okay. So I have gone through all the three platforms lately. So if I look at Google Classroom, I'm not sure if you can schedule a lecture live. I'm not sure if you can do that. Secondly, the structure that we have here for our Indian institutions, I'm not sure how you can really replicate that, how you can emulate the exact same structure here. We here have a little complicated structure that from Google Classroom perspective, I have not seen institute being able to manage that. This is one. If I talk about Moodle, again, some same issues. See, all these fundamentally are e-learning platforms, and I've seen various institutes who have used each of these three platforms. Okay, so if you compare it, you will be able to compare it with the respective features that are there. Okay, for example, I'm not sure if content store is a feature, if somebody can share the content over the platform. So eventually the way we look at it is content store is going to be the YouTube for educators. Okay, as educators, we know what piece of content is relevant to our students. Even today, YouTube is there, right? How many students really go onto YouTube and are being able to pinpoint, figure out exact relevant content for them, right? But as teachers, we can do that. And once we know that this is something relevant for our students, we can share that specific content with our students. So there are various platforms which are there. Objectively, I think from your institute perspective, you should be able to exactly pinpoint that these are the key features that you're looking at, and then accordingly choose a particular platform. Canvas also is a very good platform. I have seen most of the universities in the West using Canvas. However, you need to be a pro user. It is not a very, very easy platform to engage with. And of course, at the institute level, if you want to engage with Canvas, then pricing and all that is another thing that I'm sure most of the institutes have an issue with.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is, how many participants can attend at a time?
So we have a capacity of having unlimited students on the platform. However, there is a bottleneck on the number of users that you can add on video conferencing tools. So for now, you can accommodate up to 300 students comfortably on every lecture as we have integrated with Zoom. However, these are the numbers right now. As and when their rules and regulations change, these numbers may change. If they increase, then it may increase also. If they reduce, it may reduce also.
Okay, thank you, sir. Our next question is, can the teacher share one another's uploaded content?
Yeah, so I think I've shared that feature. On the course, you can upload n number of content pieces. You can upload multiple videos, multiple presentations, and so on.
Next we have is, can we have live contact with the students?
Okay, so let me just show this right away. I'll share the screen again. So here you can see that I had scheduled a lecture today on my dashboard. Can we see this? That I had scheduled a lecture from 11 to 12. And towards the end on my dashboard, I have an option to start my lecture. So from here, you will be automatically redirected to your lecture and students can join your lecture in real time. Okay, so I'm not going to start that lecture right now. It's a dummy lecture. But when you do this, I can share those logins with you. I can see quite a few of them who have actually joined my course, the one that we have created, the BMS course that we have created. I'll approve 3 students here. Now all the students whom I've approved can attend my live lecture.
Okay. Thank you, sir. One more question we have. Is this application free?
Okay, I have already answered this. It is free
Yeah.
for teachers and students. There are paid license for the institute if they want to adopt this on board.
Okay. Thank you, sir. As we have received so many appreciations from the participants that the session was an excellent. Now I would like to request Assistant Professor Nawaz Mulani sir to propose the vote of thanks.
Nawaz sir, just a sec. Nawaz sir, just
Hello?
a sec.
Yeah.
Nawaz sir, just a sec.
Okay.
Viral sir, one more question is there. As per recent news, Zoom is not compliant with data privacy. How do you ensure the data privacy?
Okay. So what we have done is we have put our own security layer above Zoom. Okay. So the way it works is that we are already running a payment gateway. We are running a platform where students can pay the fees, which is a very, very secured environment, right? It has got something to do with money. So what we have done is using that same security piece, we have put a double layer security over your Zoom sessions. So first and foremost, all the participants, all the teachers, all the students have to be registered on Zoom. All the on Edfly Learn, all the students should have the course, should have joined the course by that particular teacher, and from within our app we will be able to automatically have this experience, this video conferencing experience over Zoom servers. Okay, so here there is no data that goes to Zoom. There is no nobody from outside the world can join into your lecture. So in that way, it is a very secure environment. Uh, I understand that security is the biggest concern today. Be rest assured, if there is any lapse in any security bit, uh, we'll be more than happy to take over to other platforms. As we talk, from whatever we have designed so far, we have we have removed out the Zoom issue from our platform.
Okay, sir, thank you. And my last question, how to assess the level to which content has been imbibed by the student? How, as a teacher, we will come to know that, yes, the student has, grasped that particular concept?
So, so now there are various strategies that you can incorporate with learning. In physical classroom situations, more or less looking at the students, looking at their feedback, right then and there, we know various methodologies, various strategies where we can do this and we can figure out whether they have grasped the particular concepts or not. However, there are various strategies that you can implement online as well. Okay, that is something for some of our teachers who have experienced this online platforms. We are actually conducting a level 2 faculty development programs, level 3 faculty development programs, where we are bringing in the experiences from all these teachers together so that we can take these things out. Like, how are we going to ensure that our students have understood the concept? So there are various methods. Generally, today, the way I've seen teachers doing it is they will have published all the content. They would have given the content to the students. And towards the end of the lecture, after they have done with the discussions, the concepts and all that, they will open a small quiz. Now the quiz is designed in a way which ensures that the students, you will figure out whether the students have understood the concepts or not. You know? So these are some methods which I've seen effectively being used on the platform. However, you can still adopt various techniques, various strategies to ensure this part.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Very much clear. Over to you, Nawaz sir.
Good morning. Am I audible? Good morning, one and all. It is a
Be a
great
little louder,
honor.
sir.
Okay. Good morning, one and all. It is a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's faculty development program a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank you, our resource person, Mr. Kapil Bhatia and Mr. Viral Dedia, despite their busy schedules, have found time to grace the occasion and enlighten us on e-learning. We are grateful to our respected management members for their constant support and encouragement. My sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. Lina Sarkar ma'am, for her unstinted support for this faculty development program. A special thanks to Dr. Antara Sanaune, a vice principal from KVP Hinduja College, and Dr. Parveen Nagpal ma'am, a BMS coordinator from Dhanuka College, for always being our guiding light. A special thanks to Mr. Viral Dedia and Ms. Manisha Thakur of EdFly Learning Solution, without whom this webinar would not have been possible. My heartfelt thanks to all the national and international faculties and participants present today who have contributed making this program a grand success. Last but not the least, I would like to thank to all the members of our JPM family for their cooperation, love and support. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And now I request to please sound the national anthem. We end up our program with the national anthem, sir.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Ready for video KYC, ma'am. Can you see me and hear me clearly? Loud and clear. वैसे आपका मास्क काफी cool लग रहा है. Thank you, sir. Can you please confirm the city? मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you.
Thank you, Viral sir. Thank you, Kapil sir, for being there. And thank you, all my staff members. Thank you, Principal ma'am. let's end with the session. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, feedback link साठी message.
Yeah, all the participants are requested that feedback link will be sent on your WhatsApp group. Kindly fill in up all the information correctly because we won't be entertaining any corrections later on. So all the participants kindly fill all the information in a right manner. Thank you so much. Thank you. Viral sir, shall we end
One
it?
more announcement
Yeah.
is that we'll share the certificates by 3rd June.
Okay, sir.